What's up, guys? Today I'm going to talk to you about mineral exploration. So, mineral exploration is the exploration of mineral deposits as well as ore deposits, and in the future, exploiting those resources by mining. So, mineral exploration is a huge part of our lives. We kind of overlook it, but our country is even founded based off of mineral exploration. Christopher Columbus was searching for gold in the Indies, where he actually landed in America and found us, which is pretty cool. We also see major organizations such as the San Francisco 49ers being named after mineral exploration expeditions, where, for example, with the 49ers, there was talking about the gold rush in 1849 in San Francisco, California. So, mineral exploration is a pretty prominent aspect of our lives, and we overlook it often. And I think I want to explain what the process of it is as much as I want to explain what it is. But in order to understand what mineral exploration is, you really have to understand the process. So first, I'm going to take you through prospecting. So prospecting is the first aspect of mineral exploration. These are going to be your field agents, also known as mineral exploration geologists. They're going to go through on the field. By on the field, I mean over a certain area. They're actually going to walk over it, and they're going to look for rocks, and they're going to take these rocks as samples, as well as kind of make a geological map of where they found these rocks with coordinates so they can find it in the future. So they then take these rocks back to the lab, and in the lab, they're going to do geochemical and geophysical research on these. So with the geochemical, what they're going to do is they're going to break down the rock, see what minerals the rock's composed of. And with the geophysical, they're actually going to use satellite imaging as well as gravitational analysis to see what the structure underneath the surface looks like. So the gravitational analysis is actually going to check the density of rocks. So rocks respond differently to gravity, and the density of the rock is what changes that. So the gravitational analysis really shows how big the rocks are and how deep they go. And as for the satellite imaging, you can get a broader view of really how big these rocks are. You're also going to see some permit research during prospecting that is exactly what it sounds like. They're going to look through permits that have been put on this land prior to their exploration, and they're also going to see how hard it is to get a permit on this land. For example, if it's a national park, you're obviously not getting a permit. But if there has been a permit there before, they want to see what minerals they got out of it and if they exploited all the minerals in the area. So the next step is mineral exploration. So with this is where they're going to go through with drills, whether it be a small company or the actual geologist, and they're going to go through and drill a little deeper. So they're going to get a better view of what it's really like beneath the surface of these drills. So as pictured here, you see someone using a hand drill, which is a little backpack sized drill kit. And that really gives you a small sample compared to the big drills, but at the same time, it's very cheap. By very cheap, I mean it's a couple $100, but the couple hundred is nothing compared to the couple thousand that you see with a tractor trailer size drill, which is what sometimes is used, which is going to give you a better sample. But again, you risk spending money on nothing with that big drill. So here with the mineral exploration, you're going to see small companies, like I said, coming in, and you're also going to continue to see geologists. The geologists will pass off this information to other companies. That's how they're getting most of their income. And as for the companies, they're just trying to get bulk sampling to make sure that this spot is going to be a good spot to actually mine for the minerals here. So you're going to see, so this bulk sampling, you're going to either see trenching or pitting. So what they use is a mechanical excavation machine, and what it does is it really like makes a decent sized hole where the either the geologists or the company has people that work for them, they get down and they check deeper in the bottom of these pits. They're going to use the same drills they're using on the top, but in these pits, see if the mineral still surrounds the area, and if it does, they're going to move on to the next step, which is the actual mining of these minerals. So with the mining, they want to make sure, obviously, before that they start really digging, that this is going to be a good spot for them and worth the environmental downfall as well as the financial downfall. They're putting themselves in a big hole that they hope pays off with the minerals, as it usually does. So here with the mining, you're going to see no geologists really. It's going to be your mining engineers and your actual miners mining these minerals to put in the market. Really, the miners themselves don't do anything with the minerals aside from gather them. Here, they're just going to harvest all the hard work that they've put in terms of researching this spot. And yeah, that's about all that goes on in the production of the minerals. So next, we're going to move on to global mineral deposits. So pictured here is every single deposit in the world that has been exploited by a mine. As you can see, there's a lot of mines, and there's also a lot of different colors, and each color represents a different mineral. So you can also see that a lot of different minerals are very important. In order to be mined, they have to be worth millions of dollars. So here we can really see how big of a scale this mineral exploration is on. Very, very, very broad and everywhere. The world's one giant mine, but where you're really seeing the lack of mine is either a national park or somewhere where you just can't get a permit. There's minerals beneath almost everywhere on the surface. Obviously, some places are more rich than others, but the permit process really restricts companies from destroying the entire Earth. But as you can see, a good part of it has been taken by mining. So that moves on into the next point, which is the purpose of mineral exploration. So what's worth that environmental downfall? Well, mineral exploration actually is huge. Just about anything in your arm's reach right now has come from a mineral deposit. So here I have pictured smartphones and figure B. So every single one of those smartphones contains some sort of mineral, whether it's uranium, mercury, it can be anything. Your car is powered by petroleum, which is mineral exploration. Virtually anything you can think of has to do with some sort of mineral exploration. So that's why we're pushing so hard to keep it going, because here we see a lot of technologies that are new and that's coming from what is old in the earth. So it's a huge part of economy, way bigger than you'd think. And that's another reason there's a lot of money in mineral exploration. We see a lot of really big, powerful companies coming strictly from mineral exploration and exploitation. And that is likely to continue due to the fact that this tale goes back as old as time, with the ancient civilizations getting gold and silver and iron and copper and using them for either war or trade power. So next we're going to talk about more about the current economic impacts, and that is our jobs and employment. So here in figure B, you're going to see a geologist. Well, this geologist obviously works firsthand with mineral exploration. He's going to be out there, as I stated earlier, doing the prospecting and the physical mineral exploration. So he's going to gather the information to use to give to the companies, which moves on to the figure A with the miners there. There's also happen to be like child miners as well as in the whole miners. But so these miners come after the geologist has pointed out to them that there's going to be a good mineral deposit here. So this is another pretty obvious result of employment from mineral deposits. So next we're going to move into the more aftermarket aspect. So there you see an Apple factory. Well, all those Apple phones are powered by either uranium or mercury. So you're seeing the aftermarket effects of what comes from those mines. And you can also look at picture D. What I literally Google searched was sea of people, because essentially, unless you're a social worker, you're going to work with some sort of mineral because it's going to be in some product you're in. Like whether you're making it or selling it, you're still working with that mineral that came from that mine. So next, we're going to move on to the positives and negatives. This is a really important thing to look at. Obviously, we have to weigh what's more important. So with the positives, we'll do positives first. Well, it's really powered our future, minerals have. With, like I said, with the uranium being in all our technology, and you can look back as old as time at the fact that minerals provide a tangible currency. So gold, silver, iron, whatever it may be, we still have gold in the National Reserve now, just because we like the fact that it's always going to be there and it's always going to be valuable. And that consistency is hard to find with Bitcoin and even e-currency. Really, with your credit cards and your debit cards, you can never see the money that you have, but with minerals you can. Aside from that, the negatives are your environmental mishaps. So you have mountaintop removal, which is essentially the clearing of an entire mountain, and then so that's pretty bad. But the worst part, aside from the view, is the fact that you're going to get the runoff from the mine into the local streams, and that's going to get into the locals' water. A lot of locals will depend on that, especially in Appalachia. We see a lot of cancer uprising due to the fact that there's been runoff into their water. So that's definitely something that we have to be careful of in the future. And we've also seen many economic disputes even over this mineral deposits. For example, Afghanistan had a war a couple years ago that we were somewhat involved in, as well as the USSR. So we see fighting over these resources. There's no scarcity of these resources. It's the fact that there are some bigger deposits than others, and everyone wants their hands in the pot. So we've seen that's been a theme over all of time, really. You've seen even ancient civilizations fighting over gold and silver and such. So that's a problem that will expect to be continued in the future, truly. Even though nowadays we're seeing more mines in more countries, America is slowly moving towards making their own deposit, like going through their own deposits. They've always been there, but we're seeing that everywhere. And truly, the positives and negatives, it's up to you what matters more to you, but they're very strong for both sides. And so I learned a lot about mineral exploration. I hope you learned a lot, and I hope you have an incredible day.